All right, let's talk about a huge change that's going to affect every single person in India, the country's first ever digital census. I want you to forget everything you think you know about the old way of doing things. This is a complete revolution, and we're going to break down exactly what it means for you.
You know how it used to be, right? For decades, the census meant a knock on the door, a clipboard, and a really long interview. Then, all that data had to be processed by hand, which led to massive delays. So this isn't just some tech upgrade, it's much bigger than that. It's about shifting control into your hands.
So that old 45-minute interview at your home? Gone. It's being replaced by something you can do yourself, online in a fraction of the time. It's called self-enumeration, and trust me, it's a total game changer. It literally puts you in the driver's seat.
Okay, so it's faster. It's easier. That's great. But this is about so much more than just convenience. Your participation has real power. Think of your data as the key that unlocks progress for the whole country. So let's really dig into what's at stake here.
So you might be asking, what's really in it for me and for India? Well, the benefits are super tangible. We're talking about things that affect your daily life, from the roads you drive on to the schools your kids go to.
Let's break it down. For you, getting counted means your community gets seen accurately. It makes sure that when the government plans for things like benefits or local services, deciding if your neighborhood needs a new hospital, they're using real numbers. And for the government, it's the blueprint they need to make smart decisions and put resources exactly where they're needed most. No guesswork.
And maybe the biggest advantage of all? Speed. Pure and simple. Going digital means data gets collected and processed in record time. Now, why does that matter? Well, it's the difference between waiting years for a new road to get approved and actually seeing that project finished in months. So yeah, faster data absolutely means faster progress.
Okay, so we've talked about all the good stuff, but let's flip the coin. What happens if you don't participate? Well, the consequences are actually pretty serious, and they ripple out way beyond just you.
Right. So what really happens if you just decide to sit this one out? The impact is a lot bigger than you might think, and it hits your entire community in some very real, very direct ways.
First off, there's the legal side. It is a legal obligation, and there can even be fines under the Census Act of 1948. But honestly, the bigger issue is this. If you don't participate, your community loses its voice. It loses representation. If you aren't counted, your area can get completely shortchanged on funding and resources, and that leads directly to delays in essential services and just, bad planning for infrastructure. Not doing anything has a very real cost.
Okay, so now we get why it's so critical to be counted. And the really great news here is that the new digital process is incredibly simple. Seriously, let's walk through it right now, step by step.
Everything starts at one place, the official portal. You're going to want to go to se.census.gov.in. Make sure you're on that exact site, okay? That's the only way to get started safely.
Registration is just 4 quick steps. It's super easy. First, you log in with an OTP that they send to your phone. Second, you just enter the name of the head of the household. Third, you'll pin your exact location on a map. This is just to make sure everything's accurate. And finally, you get to pick from one of 16 different languages to fill out the form. See? Simple as that.
All right, once you're registered, it's time for the form itself. Don't worry, it's just 33 questions about things like your housing, what amenities you have, and some other basic info. Once you hit submit, you'll get what's called a self-enumeration ID, or an SEID. All you have to do is hold on to that ID number. When a census official eventually visits to verify, you just show them the number, and boom, you're all done.
So when you step back and look at it, this is about so much more than just filling out a form online. It feels like a small, simple digital act, right? But it has this massive, lasting impact on where the entire country is headed.
Those few minutes you spend putting in your information, that's the foundation for a better planned, more prosperous India tomorrow. So when the time comes, the real question is, will you be counted? Because the future of your community really, truly depends on it.